Having worked with women for a number of years in another business, I knew that as women we think about money in a different way, that we're far more cautious, and we're far more cautious particularly with regards to our core security, which is around home, around our children and family. And I wanted to recognise that at the heart of our business, basically, being a woman myself. Secondly was around the fact that I was increasingly coming across women who have worked hard for their success, worked hard for their wealth, and yet I wasn't seeing a translation into happier, more balanced lives. And being curious, I suppose, I wanted to sit back and see why.
There's a reframing process at work here also, though, isn't there? Because you don't necessarily talk to your clients about a 12% or 7% return. You reframe that for women. How do you do that?
Well, it's basically, I suppose, listening to them as to what matters in their lives. What do they want to get out of their wealth and their investments? And if you listen to them, majority of them would be talking about, well, I want to send my children to private school, so I want to have a school fund, or I want to be able to retire at the age of 50 or 55, and this is the sort of retirement I want. So it's far more linked with life objectives than just saying, well, I've got this 10,000 and I want to get a 10% return on it.
A recent study by Leeds University Business School suggests that women are less likely to make a business bankrupt because they're less likely than men to suffer in silence. They'll actually ask for help. Is that something you agree with?
Yes, I think generally women are more cautious, and they're much more open to asking questions and for help. I think we're far more cooperative than perhaps men are. So I would agree, and I think the cautious nature as well as asking for help comes into it, because women run businesses generally borrow less and stretch themselves less than perhaps men-only businesses.
Now, your company doesn't just offer straight financial advice to women, it also invests in small businesses, and many of us like to think that we have an entrepreneurial spirit but lack the funding to try to go ahead with those business projects. What is it that you look for in a new business if you're thinking of investing money?
Well, Addidi Business Angels is basically a club for women to pull together to share the risk and reward of investing in small businesses. So our criteria is basically that on a financial level we invest between 50,000 and $500,000 in any one business, and that there is a clear exit strategy within 5 years. Outside of that, it's fairly open-ended. But I think as a group, I don't think we would invest in any business we thought would harm society or had a negative impact as opposed to positive. There's a definite want and desire there to invest in businesses we feel have a positive contribution.
Can you give me an example of one or two businesses that you have successfully invested in?
Well, we did our first investment. We're opened a year ago, so we're almost coming up to our first year anniversary, and we did our first investment, delivered that in about April time. So typically it was with women. That took us a few months to do all the due diligence and ask all the questions. And it's a bit UK-based business, but they source a lot of their products in the Far East. And key questions coming back from the women, apart, looking at all the financials and all the normals, fine, but was what are they doing to make sure that their suppliers don't use child labour or they have decent practices. Now, often those are not questions that I think a normal angel investor would perhaps ask, but definitely from the members coming back was, I would not want to invest in this business if they haven't done their checks, and if I can't get peace of mind that I'm not investing in something that's doing harm over there. So maybe very remote, but actually that really mattered to all of us.
And you also have what I regard as a bit of a fun club, if you like, something which is intended to help women to enjoy their wealth as well.
Well, basically, at the heart of Addidi are three key themes around wealth management: creating wealth, investing it to make a difference, and enjoying it, because you can't take it with you. And enjoying wealth makes a real difference in your own life. So members have to commit to 3 things. Basically, having a consciously smiley face, a laugh or 2, and sharing it with other members, and then 1 event per month, which is for themselves, not families or networking or business, but just some time out for you. And we organise monthly events that the members can come to if they haven't had their dose of soul time, as it were. And I suppose I'd set it up. I remember when I was, when you're a teenager, you're always laughing, always smiling, you always seems to be in the moment. As you get older, it gets much, much harder. I don't know why, life sort of comes and takes over. So I wanted really to capture some of that enjoyment and just being in the moment that children have and we lose as we get older. So that's key to us.
Thank you very much indeed.
My pleasure.